Hey everybody, welcome back to more Fatal 12. This recording is pretty much right after the last one. I want to see what happens next. We have moved from Leth being the bad guy to being just something I remarked on in passing, to me being actually genuinely suspicious of the damn cat, to the game more or less outright confirming it last session. Just mention of this other black cat from this other book with the same design, and I have a feeling we're going to discover a scar just like the other cat had. You'd think that healed after 100 years, but maybe not. And other things that are just kind of coming up as people are running around and doing stuff. Federico's off to India to research on Alan. Alan is trying to connect with us to have a chat, and maybe we will figure out some way to resolve things with him before someone gets booted out. We even got to catch up with number 6 and find out her name, Chan. Interesting. So when he voted her out, at the time we theorized that they just happened to know each other and that Alan was being a stone cold bastard. As it turns out, he was still being a stone cold bastard, but Chan made some very poor life choices. Very poor life choices after her life had ended, and they resulted in no more life choices beyond that point because they got her voted out. But we are reading through this diary and hopefully getting some more revelations. Maharu is, I can't remember what she's doing really, because with Federico gone and Alan doing his own thing, I can't remember what she's up to. Which is weird, because I literally just recorded the last session. But we're going to go back into it and just see what happens. Everyone is being very cordial right now. Federico is off doing research. Alan wants to have a chat. We're reading a book. Nothing as exciting as what happened last week, but I am curious what info is going to come up, and I wonder if that means that we're going to be challenging Parka a little bit more than last time. Last time she didn't give two craps what we had to say or what we discovered. I wonder we'll be able to discover that we'll maybe make her give a couple of craps. At least a crap and a half. But we'll see. Let's get into it. We're just leaving school if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Maharu and I head to Lion House once classes have ended. Is Naomi not here today? She had something else she needed to do, so I'll fill her in on anything important tomorrow. It's pretty rare for Maharu to ask about Naomi. Yeah, it's a nice change of pace. Divine selection requires us to fight our own fate, so maybe that's changed her perspective on Naomi at some point. There wasn't much to what she said, but I could tell there was a slight difference in her attitude toward her. Anyway, it's just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Mao's probably told her that I'm waiting a bit longer before giving my answer, but even then it still feels a bit awkward to be alone with her. Yeah, that's true. We did have a slight chat with Maharu briefly. Leth? Leth, are you here? Leth, you have to leave now. I don't trust. 30 minutes after we arrive at Lion House, Maharu leaves for work. Oh, is Alan going to finally catch us? We didn't discuss much, but she told me how she met with Federico Monday night and how she was able to deduce his regret from what they talked about. Do we get to know this? It didn't happen right away, but everything fell into place on Tuesday night, which led to her being able to materialize the card. I didn't ask about the card's contents, but I asked her to fill me in later, on the off chance that he's gathering information on me as well. That would be wise. He seems to have no intention of electing me, according to her, but it can't hurt to be safe. Yeah. Do we trust what people say after talking to Scale? No, we do not trust. I don't trust the damn cat. I sure as hell don't trust Federico. I make sure to show Maharu the diary, too. Yeah, no kidding. Its existence took her by surprise just as much as it did for me. I told her that I'd pass any worthwhile information over to her once I'm done reading it. Just before she left, she offered her thoughts on it. That diary may just be the trump card we've been searching for. Oh yeah, by the way, that actually reminds me. When I saved my game, I've said before, the game tells us what the chapter name is, and actually it looks like it just tells us right here, Trump Card. That's the name of the chapter we're on right now. This game doesn't give us explicit chapters like something like Steins Gate does, but it seems to be broken up into them regardless, even if it isn't telling us. So apparently this chapter is named after the book we've got, which would imply that, yeah, maybe it is a Trump Card. What is written in it? Let's get through it and find out. There is no basis to her claim, other than the fact that the chapter is named after it, but I happen to agree. After she left, I opened the store up for business. Hi, Alan. What are you taking in your coffee? Never mind. Wednesday. No, wait. Thursday. Morning, Mao. Ohio, Mao. Morning! Blah. Too bad we got finals looming over us next week. Let's try and ignore that reality. God knows I'm doing my best to ignore it. Not to brag, but I haven't studied in the slightest ever since midterms. Yeah, not to brag, but I do literally nothing. Midterms weren't much of an issue for me since they happened soon after Divine Selection began, but the same can't be said for finals. I actually considered using my card book to cheat my way through the English exam at least, but only total losers cheat. It's a fact that I don't have the time to study, though. That's when I receive a text message. You're not technically allowed to mess with your phone on campus, but I'll break that rule today. It's from my gran. Is that really a rule? I seem to recall us messaging Maharu quite a bit, off and on during the earlier days there. But regardless, it's from my gran. I heard the finals are coming up. Forget about the store for now and focus on studying. Make sure to send me your results too. Oh yeah, yeah. Granny ain't letting you slack off no ways. Is she psychic? What's up? Get scolded by your gran? Are you psychic? I don't need you reading my mind as well. Yeah, exactly. A mere employee can't ignore their boss's orders. It's impossible to keep the store going without keeping in contact with her, too. Running the store serves as a nice change of pace, so now I'm just depressed. Well, tough. Get on it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Again, everything seems to happen in weekly installments in this game. The Culture Festival is in a week. The finals are in a week. The fireworks are in a week. Everything falls on a week. I'll keep reading the diary as usual, but I guess I can avoid failing if I use the time I normally would on the store for studying. In the worst case scenario, I'll ignore English and use my card book. No, bad Rinka, bad. Slap hand. Regular life sure can be difficult. I guess if the store is closed, is Alan just not going to be able to say hi to us? He's just going to, every time he comes by, there's a sign up that says store's closed, can't come in. Once school is ended for the day, I return home to study. Are we going to get a knock-knock? I put up an announcement of how the store will be officially closed until the week after next. Seems like one of my teachers got in touch with my gran after realizing that I probably wasn't studying this time around. That explains the psychic text. They're aware of my circumstances at home, so I can understand why they'd get in contact. No teacher can ignore a student's poor grades. I'll have to keep on top of studying once Divine Selection is over as well. Otherwise, I won't be allowed to keep running the store. Oh, I was about to say, who are you sitting with? Hey, Naomi, mind if we take a break? Oh, of course of course I mind. It's barely been half an hour since we started. Don't you love reading? I love reading. Why would you ever stop reading? You sure are strict today. Oh, sorry. It's just, well, I didn't quite realize how bad your studying habits are. It was fine during entrance exams because I had a goal, but I can't find the same motivation for these regular tests. That's a bit surprising, actually. Then again, you don't exactly fare well on those English questions I quizzed you on before. Naomi's doing some considerable damage to my morale today. Not like I can blame her. Her upperclassman is acting pretty pathetic. Maharu has to work today, too. Makes me wonder where she finds the time to study, since she's also got the Divine Selection to worry about. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. Let's just focus on yours for now. I keep forgetting to do Naomi's voice, even if it is a subtle change. I'll let you take a break after an hour. Okay, let's do this. There's no point in avoiding it, so I decide to stick my head into some books. I used to study with Mao a lot during our first year, but we normally ended up just chatting. In that regard, proper studying with someone like this is a pretty novel experience. I don't want to disappoint Naomi either, so I'll focus for at least this first hour. Then I'll disappoint her. I knew you could do it. You've earned a little break now. Make me some coffee. An hour and a half later, Naomi finally offers me entrance to the oasis known as a break. It was supposed to happen at the 1 hour mark, but I couldn't bring myself to mention it when the time came. Knowing her, she probably didn't want to interrupt me because she thought I was focused. Equally admirable and depressing, considering that wasn't the case at all. We spend the break talking and snacking. Where's Leth? The topic switches to Divine Selection at some point. I tell her about how Maharu has gathered all of Federico's information and about the diary I found. After mentioning it, I head upstairs to grab it. What's going to happen? I place it down right beside my card book. It's almost like a before and after comparison. Here it is. Wow! A book over a century old. It really does look the same as your card book too, and it's entirely handmade. No wonder we couldn't find anything about the design. Do you mind if I smell it? Okay, Naomi's interest in books goes a little beyond the academic here, I'm starting to guess. Settle down. Okay, take a shower. Just a quick whiff. Oh, do I need to put on gloves or something before touching it? I never bothered to do that, not even while reading it. You might want to treat it with a bit more care. Also, do you mind if I read it once you're done? Look at the look on her face. Jeez. Man, she is excited. You sure you want to when I'm going to talk about the contents after I'm done anyway? That's fine. Reading something this old is thrilling in and of itself. It's in English. Do you know English? The book doesn't work for you, Naomi. Seeing Naomi this excited is pretty surprising. At the same time, I realize that the diary will be in peril if I leave it here. Back into my room it goes. She's going to start hugging it and rubbing herself on it. She couldn't keep her eyes off it as I took it away, too. Guess it puts just how much she loves books into perspective. Sorry, I got a bit carried away. Back to your normal self, I see. Let's keep studying. That said, we settle on another hour of hitting the books. Naomi around old books is like Konami Dante around porn mags. We study until around 8 p.m., taking infrequent but always welcome breaks. Boy, not a whole lot. This is the chillest week ever. There's only 4 of us left alive. Come on, guys. Someone take this seriously. We're going to have another Federico POV. I should probably get going now. Naomi starts packing up to leave. She can't stop herself from smiling after learning just how much Rinka dislikes studying. It has no effect on her impression of Rinka, but seeing this side of her has been a nice surprise. Why are we talking about Rinka in the third person? Are we in Naomi now? To Naomi, the day was endless fun. Yeah, you're a freak, I'm sorry. What's more, a certain desire has continued to blossom within her as the days have gone by. Stop hitting on the protagonist! The desire for things to continue like this. For her memories of these days to remain intact. Okay, that too. Naomi isn't a participant in divine selection. That's why retaining her memories carries the same value as Rinka and Maharu's survival. There's no end to the burden caused by these feelings of hers. Would you like to study together tomorrow as well? I'd love to. Mao and Mahiro might join us too. Rinka gives her answer with a smile. Great! And Naomi responds in kind. Why was Naomi's POV... Oh, we're going to continue with Naomi? Okay, here we go. Alan, why are you muttering to yourself? After exiting Lion House, Naomi spots a nearby man muttering to himself. Is Alan going to apologize for beating the crap out of Naomi in the hospital a few months ago? Yep. Well, she's going to remember for sure. Shock overcomes her the moment she sees his face. Closed for several weeks? This isn't good. It's Alan Scorpion. Numeral 12 in Divine Selection, one of the 4 remaining participants. Naomi has seen him once before, at the hospital when dealing with Keiko. Yes. You owe Naomi a new pair of glasses. I just want to remind you of that. Keiko? The hospital? Oh, yeah. And again, Naomi's memories are very wonky because none of that should have happened. The name Kamabuchi Keiko causes her mind to flash back to 2 disparate memories. Yeah, because you got beaten up, but then you didn't get beaten up. One involving Naomi collapsing from anemia after paying a visit to the hospital. The other involves going to the hospital with Rinka to approach Keiko and learn more about her. Following this, she was attacked by Alan, who had the same goal in mind. What's more, the things she's heard from Rinka are mixed into both memories. The confusion causes Naomi to collapse to her knees. Well, Alan's going to notice that. She can feel her mind failing to parse which memory is real and which is fake. Noticing something is amiss, Alan rushes over to her side. Do you recognize this girl? He seems to remember her clearly. Fair enough. Are you okay? She cannot comprehend why he's showing concern for her. It might have made sense if he considered her Rinka's underclassman, but the genuine tone of worry in his voice is confounding. The Alan she is gradually beginning to remember was never this kind. This realization causes her to suffer even more. Yeah, Parka, you genuinely suck at your job, okay? Have I pointed that out this video? Rinka's still inside. She somehow fights through the pain to speak. Strangely enough, she doesn't feel that she should keep him away from Lion House at all costs. Is he going to carry her in? Is the door still unlocked? Around 10 minutes after Naomi leaves, someone else pops into the store. Well, an unexpected person in an unexpected situation to boot. Rinka's going to see Naomi getting carried in. Get a bed and some water ready. Huh? Alan is carrying Naomi with one arm cradling her neck and the other behind her knees. The surprise fades once I notice that Naomi doesn't seem to be feeling right. This isn't the time to ask questions, so I get some water ready and take her upstairs to my room. Okay, so Alan is going to get his talk after all. The idea of having Alan come into my room isn't all that thrilling, so I ask him to wait downstairs. Which, of course, he will. Once I come back down, I notice Alan standing there with a bitter look on his face. How is she? She's conscious, but it seems like a migraine. I've given her medicine and water, so I'll check back after she rests for an hour. I make sure to call and let her mom know. I tell her that she's sleeping here at the moment due to her not feeling well. Well, thanks for the... Yeah, that was a very hesitant arigato. Thanks for that, I guess? Why did you help her? I noticed her ready to collapse outside the store. I couldn't just ignore her. That's surprising in all honesty. Sorry, but I thought you were a colder person. Perhaps that's not the wisest thing to say to someone who willingly knocks out nurses and eliminates participants without a second thought. Well, keeping in mind that Naomi was part of that knockout, it's not like you're incorrect to say it. But now he's helped both me and Naomi. That's why I feel comfortable enough to speak my thoughts. You're finally here to discuss things, aren't you? The fact that he's here means he has business with me. I expected him to come, though I didn't think it'd be this early. I assumed it would be either Saturday or Sunday. I mean, why wait, right? I mean, when he visited Federico, he literally announced his intentions to beat the crap out of him. I don't think he's going to do that to you, but still. What's the plan here? Hey, look at this graphic. Indeed. I'm here to provide the answers you seek regarding my actions. Well, I'm not sure we care about this, but it'll be interesting to hear just from a player's point of view. There was a certain connection I made that night in the hospital when you stood up to me despite how little you could do. The look in your eyes resembled that of my younger sister's. There's a certain gentleness to his expression as he admits it. I have 5 younger siblings. 4 of them are much younger brothers, but my only sister is just around your age. Her name is Amrita. Okay, this is the name we heard before. Unlike me, my siblings continue to use the names our parents gave them. My mind flashes back to something Alan mumbled during his sleep after fighting Odette. Yep, that's when he said it. Amrita. It's his sister's name. Allow me to add that she's far better looking and smarter than you. Ah, you pompous asshole. Let me just add that real quick. Is it okay if I put that in? I just want to make sure you know this. Hey now. Boy, Rinka's just gotten her self-esteem trampled on over the last couple of days, hasn't she? Still, you two are inherently similar. Your strength of will, your tenacity to put yourself at risk by letting your emotions take over. Again, us not doing that got us a bad end a couple of videos ago. I'm certain that my brothers would grow up to be like me. That much is obvious through both our bond as family and as men. On the other hand, I worry for Amrita. I can only imagine how she will handle work and marriage with that personality of hers. My card book begins to shine all of a sudden. I wondered if this was going to... Why are you handing us your regret card? Like, is Maharu going to vote out Federico and we're going to vote out Alan and all of a sudden we're solid? This is the most anticlimactic divine selection ever. Everyone is just kind of getting over it. One card materializes. Regret, sister's future. Why? Why are you doing this? Having seen the gentle expression he shows from time to time, I'm not very surprised at the card's contents. I mean, Alan, the funny thing is, Alan's been going through all his character development off screen. I guess it's not unusual for this to happen, all things considered, but it is weird considering how Alan behaved when we first met him. Day 1, vote someone out. Next week, in a hospital, threatening to kill babies. Now he's just like, hey, I love my sister. Here's a card so you can vote me out. Like, what? I know he's talked about going back to the way he used to be, but I really want a little more elaboration on him about this. Why is he doing this? I know if I shut up, he'll actually tell me, but, you know, you don't watch this to I hope you're watching this to hear me ramble, because if you're just watching it to listen to me read the pretty words, then, boy, you've been disappointed for the last 20 episodes, haven't you? If anything, it proves how well I've come to understand Alan. Why would you reveal your regret to me? Because I want you to live. But it's fine. This is a decision I've made for myself. I won't give my life for free, though. I want you to shoulder the weight that accompanies it, and finally bring an end to our story. Meaning what? He tells me about his past next. I guess this ties into what Rinka wants, because we want to remember all the people we voted out, even assholes like Scale. His mother died from illness when he was still a child, while his father was killed due to a grudge involving shady business practices. Yeah, that reminds me. Federico was talking about how he was a loan shark. Didn't his father get involved in something like that and get killed as a result of similar dealings? I can't remember if I speculated at the time that I would have wondered if Federico and Alan's father had some sort of past and they were related to that incident. But maybe we'll find out that's the case, or maybe it's just a coincidence. Alan soon took over his father's business connections, discarding both his name and religion in the process. Even his country's traditions soon became a nuisance to him. He built his own business from scratch and turned it into an undeniable success. The exact opposite of a loser like Federico. The larger the company grew, the more I sacrificed. The more people I threw by the wayside. I may have changed my name, but I still took after my father when it came to making others hold a grudge against me. Poison was my cause of death. A similar assassination method to that of my father's, ironically enough. Okay, so that's how the poison came up. There's no change in his tone as he discusses how he was killed. And sure enough, my card book shines once again, materializing his card of death. That's awful. There are far more assassinations covered up the world over than you would expect. The same will likely happen to mine when I'm eliminated. He mentions that he had to deduce his own cause of death after it had been undone. Yeah, I guess he would be in a similar boat to us. Ah, there's that music again with the really nasty transition. That thing needs to loop a little more smoothly. Nobody would know they've been poisoned until after it kicked in, I guess. Your each and every action has reminded me of Amrita, from the way you refuse to abandon those in need to how easily influenced you are. That fierce determination of yours when it came to not only your friend but your grandmother as well. You wanted nothing but to save them, isn't that right? But I'm not your sister, Alan. I know that. However, the similarities are undeniable. There's little I can say when I don't know his sister personally. Alan presses on, unconcerned about how perplexing this whole scenario is for me. My thoughts are likely irrelevant to him. This isn't the logical side of Alan talking. These are his emotions. I don't trust a single person in my company. That's why I've left a letter stating that the next in line will be one of my family. Age-wise, this would fall to Amrita. Hence my worry, you see. I'm still not sure how well she will do in a position that involves dealing with the ugliest sides of people. I can't imagine someone my age being the CEO of a huge company. I thought the same at first. Meeting you has helped assuage some of my concerns. She's aware of her shortcomings and yet entirely blind to her own strength of heart, much like you. Both of you hold the ability to move others. If you doubt that for even a second, then look no further than myself as proof. People like you will have no issue finding people to whom you can entrust yourself. His gaze is locked onto me as he speaks. Our eyes may be meeting, but it's not me he's looking at. He's looking at my cat. He's using me as a window to see his sister. I'm not nearly as amazing as you're making me out to be. Besides, I don't have it in me to shoulder a responsibility like that in the first place. No matter. I've made my decision. Is one of our endings going to involve not electing Alan? I wonder if that's going to be a choice that the game gives us during next Divine Selection. The company itself may not fare any better in her hands, and she's likely to fail along the way. That's fine, though. I trust that she'll lead it in a different direction than I did. Most importantly, I can't see anyone willing to kill her like they did me. So long as she's able to lead a long and fulfilling life, that's all that matters. Alan, I still have my concerns, of course, but I also have hope now. Surely you understand the significance of that. His expression changes once again, to one I've never seen before. I was about to comment on that. It is a much nicer face right now. Like, this is not the baby murder face. You know, he actually looks like a nice guy here. I mean, this is a weird way for this whole thing to resolve. Where's the climax going to come from? Everyone's just jobbing for the protag right now, and I'm not trusting it. Whoa, unbelievable. I never thought he'd have it in him to express such a brilliant smile. His every word and action is in relation to his sister shows just how much he cares for her. I have no parents or siblings to speak of, but I can tell this is how those who do feel about them. Again, it kind of reminds me of Shigetsugu's comments where he talked about how the short time he met Alan, he realized that nobody cares about their family more than Alan does. What are you smiling for? I don't realize I'm also smiling until he points it out. He's strict, but kind and reliable. He always seems a bit desperate despite his intellect. Part of me is envious of Amrita for getting a brother like him. Ha! What a weird situation. No reason, I guess. Right. Who'd have thought I'd ever come to think about him like this? Well, guess it's my fault. I never bothered to try and understand him after what happened at the hospital that day. I mean, who could blame you? But he'd always been kind to me after that. At Shigetsugu's home, when he helped me stop you, and even when he saved my gran. To be fair, he left you alone at Shigetsugu's home because he figured that you didn't have your own cards. He had no reason to beat you up. As soon as you told Odette that you had Scales regret, all of a sudden Alan was like, "Oh, it's game time." Odette literally had to protect you, so let's not pretend he's been kind the whole time. I'm at fault for never seeing him for who he really is. What happened to seeing how far my mindset could take me? I've already seen it. That's why I'm here now. Alan pauses briefly before posing a question. What will you do about Hinata Miharu? Why do I trip on that name? What will you do about Hinata Miharu? This question takes me by surprise. Well, not the question itself, but the realization that he truly does understand me. There's no reason for me to hesitate, though. I only have one answer to give. I'll ensure that we both survive. Good. That's what I wanted to hear. Amrita would no doubt say the same. How about some coffee before you go? I can guarantee you'll like it. That sounds good. Yeah, you'll like my coffee more than you like my curry. It is supposed to be a simple offer, but my wording may have given it more weight than intended. I doubt Alan fails to catch it either. Okay, it shouldn't take too long. I'm gonna make it the best coffee I've ever brewed. Is Naomi gonna wake up? Are we gonna sit? Is he gonna be sitting across from us? Are we gonna have a little more to talk about? No words are exchanged as he drinks his coffee. It's not an awkward silence or anything. Words simply aren't needed. Our relationship doesn't extend beyond our status as participants in divine selection. We're not friends, we're not lovers, we're not enemies, we're not even siblings. But that's why this works. I'm not much of a coffee fan, but I'd be lying if I said that wasn't pleasant. Thanks. He pauses, stands, and then continues. It's about time you see how she's doing. Yeah, I was thinking the same. Only you could make the decision to live your life to its fullest while shouldering the lives of others. Anyone else would see them as little more than a burden. I might have thought that way under normal circumstances, but those burdens have helped me realize that I'm not alone. Two people can't comprise the same body, though your belief that you're not alone despite this is part of your strength. I'm certain you haven't been alone either. Right, bro? Oh, please. I've already made it clear that Amrita far outclasses you in every respect. Still, your claim is one I'll have to deny. It wasn't until I accepted your way of life that I was able to trust in Amrita. I have a favor I'd like to ask of you. Go ahead. I abandoned my roots and my past when I came to Japan. Thus, I have nothing I can leave to you. In exchange, I ask that you remember, not just myself, but the miracle that led to our paths crossing. Aren't you going to see Amrita? That's of no concern to Shishimai Rinka, I believe. I give Alan an understanding nod in response. I'm certain I would have hesitated to elect him had he given me a proper answer, regardless of what it was. He's made sure to put a wall between us. I understand why, though. That's his way of making things easier on both of us. His objective accomplished, he takes his leave. My eyes remain locked on him even as he fades into the darkness outside. It's because I know. I know this is the last time I'll ever see Alan Scorpion in the real world. Boy, this is going to be the most cordial divine selection ever, and then it's just going to be, okay, what's the plan now, Miharu? we're here. I wonder if I'm still missing certain endings, like there are ones I've already passed or something that are also good, or if I still get some options. Because I seem pretty bent on voting up Alan at this point. I'm not sure the game is going to give me a choice now. Not long after he leaves, Naomi comes downstairs. Naomi, are you feeling better? I'm fine, yes. More importantly, I have to apologize to you. She pauses before pulling her eyes away from me. I heard your conversation with Alan. He's so much more kind than I thought. I want to thank him for helping me, but it's too late. Don't worry about that. It's all I can think to say to her. He has to have known that Maharu collected all of Federico's cards. Now he's made sure that only you and she remain after the next round. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure how he would have known that Maharu got Federico's cards, but who knows? Yeah, I don't doubt it. I'm gonna forget everything about him once he's eliminated, aren't I? Not just about him helping me, but his kindness as well. That's why it's my job to make sure I never forget. In that case, please tell me about him after the fact. Make me remember what I shouldn't. Of course. I wouldn't be able to handle it all if I didn't. Naomi grips my hand tightly in hers. Her memories take a considerable blow since she's helping me despite not being a participant. Yeah, I mean, it's her messed up memories that caused the whole collapse in the first place. Though, that makes me question why the system that rewrites people's memories is so flawed. Yeah, again, Parka, you suck rocks at this. If Parka's the one who made it, then I want to lodge a complaint. As I've said in the past, you and me both, sister. You and me both. Yeah, Parka, you suck at this. It's far too cruel. There's more to life than the beat of one's heart. It's our experiences that make us who we are. That's why changing or making people forget those experiences is just as bad as outright killing them. Do you mind if I stay over tonight? I'm still not feeling too well, honestly. Sure, I don't mind. Just make sure to tell your mom first. Also, don't tell Maharu. She's going to kill you. She's obviously faking it. Not like it matters to me, though. If anything, I don't want to spend the night alone. Morning. Saturday, 2 days later. Oh, we skipped ahead. Yesterday passed without issue. Yeah, I guess there's not a whole lot we really need to focus on, is there? It's like we're voting out Alan, we're voting out Federico. What have we learned from the diary? Because if we've been reading that persistently, then we should be near the end. And we really should be reaching some sort of fun revelation. The chapter's called Trump Card. What's the trump card? Tell me the trump card. The four of us studied together after school, and then I did my usual diary reading at night. I told Maharu about Alan, too. Looks like I'll be electing him, while she will be electing Federico. And since we're number 1 and 2, there's nothing anyone can do about it. On a superficial level, things have gone far smoother than they have in weeks past. Yeah, no kidding. That's what Psymin says. There weren't any huge incidents like with you, nor was there any need to make deals with people like Odette. Things aren't so simple deep down, though. The significance of the upcoming elections is all the greater, now that we've gotten to know and see their development. There's no point in being depressed until the time comes, though. Instead, I try to brighten my mood before heading to school. Again, Japan. School on Saturday. What the hell? Upon my arrival, Mao greets me with an eerie grin. Show me this eerie grin. That's the same grin as always, game. Morning! Guess what day today is? July 7th. So, oh, Tanabata. What's Tanabata? Bingo! They put up some bamboo over in the cafeteria, so let's go hang our wishes. It's a bit embarrassing, but okay. I'm surprised you care, though. Normally you're not interested in the stuff going on at school. Sometimes I feel like it, you know? You're coming too, Maharu. All right when Ifrinka does. All right! Now to rope in Aran as well. There must have been a Tanabata feature on TV or something. Tanabata, am I saying that right? That aside, it's relieving to see Mao act like this. Well, it'd probably be a relief if she was in her post-all-nighter mode as well. Ooh! Here's a shot we haven't seen since the Culture Festival, and that was way decorated. Once we've written and hung our wishes up, we start to make our way to class. The faculty set bamboo up in the cafeteria that's shared between our and the college's campus, just like Mao said. A surprising number of people are participating. which leads to me taking a peek at some wishes. Most are relationship related. So what did y'all write? What happened to keeping it secret? Well, if you can read everyone's posted things that are public, I mean, it's not much of a secret, is it? We make it a point to keep what we've written to ourselves. For a simple reason, too. We're shy. Let me make one thing clear, Naomi. You might not have meant to see what I wrote, but you did nonetheless. I don't need to explain what will happen if you tell anyone, do I? Miharu just starts cracking her knuckles. I'm so sorry. My lips are sealed. Oh-ho! Caught a glimpse, did ya? It's a loyal servant's duty to tell their queen everything, you know. Spill it, underclassmen. I guess it's a secret if people aren't putting their names on their things. I don't know how this whole Tanabata thing works. But I guess if Naomi outright saw Miharu put it up, then it's like, well, alright. Sorry, but I can't, no matter what. I've already been killed twice. It's not fun. Stop. Miharu gives Naomi an exaggerated glare before transitioning into a smile. As for me, well, I guess there's no point in reminding myself of something I wrote. Just a few more nights of sleep and it'll finally be summer vacation. I would say a few when it's over a week away, but sure. You haven't forgotten about our promise to go see fireworks, have you, Rinny? Should be around this time next month. I haven't. Let's make sure the four of us go together. Yeah, we'll see about that. There's a hint of gravity to her words. It's not often she sounds like that, so it leaves the rest of us speechless. Naomi ends up breaking the silence. Yeah, I love fireworks, so I'm really excited. I wonder how much Mao actually knows, because again, having the four of us alive at that point would involve two people surviving divine selection, and Mao saying something like that with gravity, does she know something? I almost wonder if Mao is somehow related to this in a way that we don't know, like maybe a feminine man is riding around in her head because she was part of a divine selection or something like that. Whatever. I'm still wondering if, like, Mao may just be the kind of the straight person in all this because you need some touch point of normality, or maybe she's got some secret of her own, or maybe she's just in on things, like she knows Miharu's in love and stuff like that. Miharu and I nod in agreement. All right, Naoran's in charge of getting up early and grabbing us a spot then. I'll do what I can. We'll all go there together, for sure. If Rinka says so, then it's the truth. My reluctance to say it in the first place is why I forced myself to make that claim. It's a much more personal wish than what I wrote earlier, but also a more earnest one. Saturday. Once the day is over, I get ready for bed. Leth? As for the diary, I'm almost done with it in terms of pages. Yeah, let's get through this before the end of the video. Let's finish that diary. Where's the trump card? Tomorrow's session should be my last. I couldn't find a second volume after looking around, so tomorrow marks my last look into the diary lives of Linda and Diana. When I think about that, I recall what we talked about earlier on in the afternoon. Fireworks, huh? I talked to Miharu about it before, back when we were alone at the theme park. Back when I was the only one who didn't know anything about divine selection. Oh no. A flood of memories come back to me all at once. I must be tired. I feel my eyes begin to water up as my emotions involuntarily pour out. Yep, I want to go. I want to go with everyone. My thoughts turn to screams. And then I remember that it's the middle of the night, so I end up smoldering my face with a pillow. It helps to muffle my screams. It's also sudden. The fear of losing what I have at the moment has just hit me out of nowhere. I don't want anything up till now to be undone. I fall asleep at some point, unable to sort out my emotions, and not reading the rest of the diary. I feel like that's going to bite us. Federico? No. Naomi? Federico's got to be... Oh, that's right! Federico had to come back at some point. That makes sense. Federico returns to Japan from India on Sunday morning. Ah, damn it. Can't believe I only managed to find his cause of death. Once in India, he visited both Alan's company and his family. Well, to be fair, figuring out his cause of death was probably pretty impressive considering Alan didn't even know what that was. According to his company, Alan was out on private business that wasn't to be divulged to anyone. As a result, he kept all contact with the company to a minimum. In exchange, the vice president was in charge of all important decisions for the time being. That led to Federico's discovery of an anti-Allen faction within said company. Not to mention their connection to a certain competing company. Putting two and two together with what Miharu had told him, he was able to deduce the background behind Allen's death and materialize the card. Oh, that's right, he actually started with knowledge of what the card said. That probably made it a lot easier. The big issue was with learning his regret, since no one there had any valuable information related to it. His visit to Allen's home proved to be entirely meaningless too. Ah, never expected to come across someone like her. Oh, did you meet Amrita? Ah, there's the face in the window that we saw earlier. A girl there realized what Federico was up to. Her name was Amrita. Their surnames might be different, but she was apparently Allen's sister. She showed no reservation in telling Federico to leave the moment she saw him. Federico knew that Allen had plenty of enemies. He never would have been poisoned if that weren't the case. What's more, those enemies of his would visit his home in order to uncover any potential weakness. Federico used this knowledge in an attempt to threaten her. It was to no avail, however. She did nothing but glare at him in response. Federico realized right then and there that she was a stranger to the concept of fear. She was undoubtedly aware of her brother's bad side. Am I going to need to make a montage of the spelling and grammar errors in this game? She was undoubtedly aware of her brother's bad side. God damn it. His merciless attitude toward others, his valuing of skill and competence above all else, and how many had lost their jobs due to both of those traits. Even then, she was wise enough to prevent his potential enemies from learning anything about him. Her situation was full of contradictions, and yet she stood resolute before Federico and his threats. Federico himself likely would have resorted to a number of horrible means to force information out of her back in his mafia days. But this time he gave in. The lack of both any backing from the organization and confidence that she knew anything about his regret caused him to do so. Little did Federico know. That is his regret. She's looking right at him. More importantly, the look in her eyes made it clear that she wouldn't budge through normal means. Allen, your sister's a cutie. Man, who did that girl remind me of? Not Odette, that's for sure. Is she going to remind you of Rinka as well? There was something familiar about that look. Federico's inability to remember who it reminded him of bothered him. Well, whatever. She may have been a looker, but she's just a kid. Gotta admit that I don't see her faring too well in the future with a personality like that. Doesn't have Allen's faith, apparently. Apart from that, the fact remained that Federico was unable to obtain Allen's regret. Well, good news, you don't need it. Bad news, you're never going to need anything ever again. He gave himself a set time to return to Japan for two reasons. One was to prevent himself from losing his resolve, and the other was to ensure he had enough time for one last-ditch effort. Oh, what is this? The only thing left for him at this point is to find and question Allen directly. Yeah, do you remember how that went last time? Finding that asshole is the main issue. The train rocks as he tries to discern Allen's location. Yeah, I don't think you're going to figure that out. I don't think you're going to do well against him either. I guess I fell asleep at some point. This is still Sunday morning, I imagine. Waking up only to remember my outburst last night feels anything but good. On the bright side, it proves just how much of a toll this whole thing has taken on me. I open my window and take a deep breath of fresh air to collect myself. Is that it? Are we going to finish the diary? Allen time? Nope, Federico looking for Allen time. Oh man, guess it makes sense for me to go out like this. Federico chalks up his current situation as one befitting a loser like him. He's unable to get in touch with Allen now that Scale's gone. Technically, Allen has your contact information. Funny how nothing came of that. He's visited a number of places in the hopes of finding him, but to no avail. He wasn't even at the warehouse where he met with Odette and that other girl. How would you even know about that warehouse? In the end, he finds himself at the national park in Shinjuku, the final destination. He doesn't know why this park has such a fancy name, but he doesn't care. What he does care about is the fact that Allen's not here either. Just means our fates aren't linked. That I even need to say such a thing makes me sick. His pace may seem leisurely, but he's spent the day running around on foot. Time simply won't allow him to slow down. He's running so hard that he's gotten covered in sweat despite his level of fitness. He's done all he can to triumph over Alan. It's a level of effort that he's long forgotten. That's why he feels an odd sense of satisfaction, despite having nothing to show for it. Might as well grab some booze and drink until I pass out. His decision made, he walks off into the night of his final day. Yep. I mean, I predicted that he'd spend the week at the bottom of a whiskey glass. I guess it's just his final hours. Are we going to election? We're pretty early in the video. I don't want to cut it off. 1 hour later, Federico returns to an area close by. Is he going to see Rinka through the window, reading her diary? In doing so, he notices a certain cafe. Guess I wouldn't mind some coffee first. Well, number one, it's closed, but also it's kind of funny that he's going to find this place by accident. He hasn't had any espresso during his whole trip. It wouldn't quite match the taste of what he's used to back home, but he finds himself wanting some after so long. The lights are still on, leading him to believe the shop's still open. Thus, he struts over to its entrance. Ain't there a sign up? I mean, I can't imagine much is going to come of this, but I guess we'll get a moment with him. This will take us to the end. After day turns to night, I sit down at my usual table with the diary. I've got some coffee with me as well, but I'm being extra careful not to spill it on the book. I didn't spend the whole day studying thanks to having to take care of some chores, but hey, it's nice to finally sit down and relax. I don't get to do that often these days. At first, I was reading through this diary to find information related to divine selection, but somewhere along the way I found myself simply enjoying it. Man, is this what Naomi likes so much? Yeah, exactly. I can see why Naomi loves to read so much now. Okay. After taking a sip of coffee, open up to the page I have bookmarked. You're going to get interrupted. Is this just like a fate thing? Is this Parka just being a dick and just causing things to happen that are keeping you from finishing the diary and getting to a point where there's some actual info? Because Federico's just going to be, shouting outside the store. The hell? Why is it closed when the light's still on? Way to ruin my impression of the place. We don't do this back in Italy. The door is closed, but I can hear them loud and clear. What's more, the voice sounds familiar. I close the diary and duck behind the counter to better scout out what's going on. Is there really anything that's going to happen super important from here? Standing outside is none other than Federico Carminati. Why is he here? Didn't he settle things after his discussion with Maharu? I prepare myself for the worst, though something feels off. He isn't addressing me directly now that I think about it. In fact, it may be safe to assume he's here by coincidence, judging by what he said. He's just upset that the store is closed. There's no need to overthink things in this situation. Well, he's right up in the screen here. This is the first time we've seen this resolution of this sprite. Well, what the? You? Seems like he's noticed me. I bet he never expected me to be running a cafe, much less the fact that I'm simply trying to read a book. He stands there and stares at me, mouth agape. I decide to not say anything to shatter his silence. Shortly after, he grins from ear to ear before erupting in laughter. The way he's laughing, it's a familiar sound. Are we going to have coffee with Federico? Are we going to send him on his way, or is he going to do something? Federico can't hide his surprise at this turn of events. Inside the cafe he's about to visit stands none other than Shishimai Rinka. It's the first time they've met one-on-one in the real world. Fate must be up to something for this to happen on his last day. Yeah, it's interrupting Rinka's reading. Nobody cares about you. Someone cares about what's in that book. Her presence within the closed cafe could mean she works there, but Federico's more inclined to believe that she lives there. That doesn't matter to him, though. Instead, he finds himself excited about a certain revelation. Like what? That's who she reminds me of. Amrita? Rinka is staring Federico down, clearly wary of him, just like Amrita did. The look in her eyes brings someone else to mind. This is a weird revelation for him to have 5 minutes before he's about to kick the bucket. Amrita, Alan's sister. They both share that same resolute gaze. He'd always wondered why Alan seemed so concerned with Rinka, but he figured it had nothing to do with his regret. He is going to figure it out for all the fat load of good it's going to do him. But he was wrong. This chance discovery seals the deal for him. Alan's regret is related to her. This excitement turns into a sense of joy he's never experienced before. I'm not a loser! Yeah! Wait a minute, I'm getting elected out? Crap! He's won. At the last minute, he finally possesses all of Alan's cards. He succeeded in outdoing someone he wants to beat. Cheers to you, kid. Federico then takes his leave without bothering to enter Lion House. He's just done. He's like, he got what he wanted. Okay, that's cool. Rinka stands there alone and puzzled over what's just happened. What the hell was that about? Okay, that was an interesting moment. Yeah, what was that all about? Federico randomly decided to wander off while I was giving him the silent stare. I'm not even sure what he wanted. He looked incredibly happy for some reason, though. That sure was frightening, in more ways than one. I'm not sure why, but there was something unsettling about the way his expression switched from anger to surprise and then to joy. It didn't seem like he was rejoicing over obtaining my information at the very least. Maybe I'll take a break from reading today. No! Read it! Perhaps it's for the best, since he might try to come back. Sucks when I'm almost done with it, but oh well. Come on, read it! After returning to my room, I focus on preparing myself for tonight's election. Well, we're very early in the video. I don't suspect much will come of surprise, so maybe we'll just shoot through this. I was kind of expecting us to have something we could grill Parka about, but of course Rinka decided not to finish her frickin' diary. Let's see how this goes. I have a feeling there's going to be some surprise in store for us here, so might as well end the video after we find out what it is. Good evening, my lovely little slaves to fate. Slaves! This is almost not plural. That's the 10th time I've had to listen to her voice. Parka addresses the court of fate as she always does. Are we actually going to get the double? Because Federico is going to try to vote Alan out. Well, I mean, Reika's going to vote Alan. Then Maharu's going to get Federico. Is Federico just going to be like, well, butts? I mean, there's not much he can do, right? I'm well aware of the cruelty being masked by her divine tone, as well as the reality that I have the same cruelty within me. 4 remain, but who will survive until the end? I guess you'd prefer a girl if you're going to use us as your host. Goodness no, I view all genders equally. Says the goddess that went on about how I must reek of booze. Did I? I'm afraid I don't recall such an exchange. You little. At it again, I see. I can't say I mind it tonight, though. Holy crap. Seeing you smile might just be the creepiest thing I've ever experienced. Alan and Federico have no issues engaging Parka in senseless conversation. That's been the case since the beginning, in fact, especially with Federico. That's right. Tonight is the last night I'll get to see this. I don't feel sad about it, just empty. I can't say for sure how Maharu feels. But at the very least, she's chosen to remain silent like me. We're finally nearing the end of Divine Selection. I do look forward to seeing what fate has in store for you all. Allow me to begin tonight's election. Revolve, O clock of fate. I wonder what the choices are that we're going to get that will determine a good, positive ending. Again, I theorized before, will the game actually give me a choice to elect Alan? I guess we'll find out in a minute. Her sly grin signals the beginning of the election procedure. My place as numeral 1 is one that I detest. I'm always the one forced to make the first declaration as a result. Well, numeral 1? Well, no choice. I elect numeral 12. Get out of here. Hey, Federico, what do you think about that? I made it sure to look Alan in the eyes as I say so. I'm using his life as a stepping stone for my own. It's a truth that no rationalization can change. Thus, I have to accept it. He smiles upon hearing my declaration and nods. Next is numeral 2. I elect numeral 3. Well then. Things are proceeding as expected. Yes, they are. Will we hear any surprises? Federico nods in response, his expression an odd mix of satisfaction and displeasure. I understand now just how incredible it is for him to remain that composed. And yourself, numeral 3? Not like it matters. Who, me? Sure, I've got an election, and it's got your name all over it, Alan. Good grief. Can you please refer to him by his numeral? We all know everyone's names already, Parka. Frick it. Hey now, everyone knows each other's names at this point, so it should be fine. But hey, I'll obey your rules. Numeral 12. I'm electing you. Very well. Parka nods and then turns to face Alan. He raises his voice before she can prompt him, though. Oh! What the hell? Okay. Damn, okay. How's this dynamic going to play out? Are we going to let them go at it just so they can see who's best? Just so Federico can die a loser like he always does, and then the girls' elections can go through as normal? This is a weird three-way. Maharu elects Federico. Federico elects Alan. Rinka also elected Alan, and Alan is electing Federico back. Okay, Parka, I think you're going to have to get your DM rulebook out and figure out how to handle this. Allow me to elect Federico Carminati. Heavens, must you be like this too? Please wait until I ask before making your declaration. Yeah, Parka's getting less and less respect as this thing goes on. That was my way of accepting his provocation. I elect numeral 3. Oh yeah, he said the name too and not the number. Very well. Do allow me to stress the importance of adhering to the rules, however. Again, what is the reason for the rules? Why? Why are the rules important? Why does it matter? What if we don't feel like following your rules and you just tell you to go get stuffed? Federico and I have elected Alan. Yeah, how does this, what is the order? I mean, I guess it goes in order with the girls first, and then it just doesn't matter what these two do. Federico and I have elected Alan. Meanwhile, Maharu and Alan have elected Federico. All 4 of us face duplicate elections. Yeah. Fun stuff. This isn't a situation I'd anticipated. Yeah, is someone going to have to reveal their cards? I guess it isn't going to really matter, but are we going to end up in a situation where only one person gets elected? I don't think Rinka or Maharu are going to want to risk any of their cards getting revealed. Ooh, does that mean Federico and Alan? Oh, this is interesting. So if Rinka and Miharu give up priority, Alan and Federico are going to go at it. And if they go at it, are they just going to end up in a situation where they stalemate? I thought 2 people were going to die today. Are all 4 of us going to survive? Ooh, I wondered what the surprise was going to be. That qualifies. I get that Federico wants to elect Alan, even if it means causing that situation, but I honestly didn't think he had all of his cards. Well, you're the reason he has them. I'm not quite sure why Alan wants to elect Federico and Maharu's already doing so either. This entire situation has me slightly bewildered. The fact that 12 and 3 are eliminating each other might mean that everyone survives. If Alan hadn't done that, things might have gone smoother. I can't see this being a tactic to make us back off. It should be clear at this point that I won't hesitate to earn election priority, will you? How's this going to play? What are you thinking? Well, well, quite the clash of wills we have tonight. Allow me to handle this all in order. Sure, go ahead. Yo, Maharu, I ain't too fond of letting that asshole be the one to put the nail in my coffin. Still wish I could have spent a wild night with you, but hey, you'll at least be the one to put an end to this for me, will you? Ugh, how many times must I tell you not to speak? I have a role to carry out. Federico, you're going to get the mute button if you don't shut up. Federico ignores Parka's distress and tells Maharu that he's leaving it to her. What's more, Alan turns to speak to me. Same thing? I share the same sentiment as him. I would be ashamed to call myself Amrita's brother if he were the one to eliminate me. I clench my fists as I listen to his words. It's not a logical decision at all, but it's one that I can understand. Boy, this is going to get weird. Ha! Men truly are hopeless. Is that what you were hoping I'd say? I aren't really into that sort of thing, but sure, that works. I didn't expect you to think about things this way. It's in my nature as a brother, which is all I will be at the moment. That's enough. I need you all to follow proper protocol. Parka actually raises her voice at us. How unusual. There's no anger in her tone, though. If anything, I think she's excited. It's an abnormal situation, one where myriad emotions are all crossing paths. Yeah, this is interesting. How will this play out? Numeral 1 and 3's election of number 12 shall be our first priority. As you know, revealing a personal card will allow you to obtain election priority. What will you do, numeral 1? Well, I'll reveal my name card because, damn it, everyone knows that. I'll reveal my regret. Oh yeah, you don't have too many cards to reveal at this point, do you? You've revealed 2 out of 3. This is your last one. And everyone knows your regret anyway, so F it, right? I'll reveal my regret. I close my eyes as Parka chides Federico for ignoring protocol again. My actions are essentially throwing mud in his face after he helped me. My actions are essentially throwing mud in his face after he helped me? Federico? What'd Federico do for you? But that's okay. What I'm about to do is through my own will. I'll reveal my cause of death then. Heh! I'm fresh out of a cause to reveal, so I guess I'll let you have the right to eliminate him. I won the moment I gathered all 3 of his cards. Heck, I should thank you for giving me the final push I needed. So that's why. I finally understand his actions from last night. He must have learned about Amrita somehow. I've never met her myself, but the similarities must be authentic if even he is able to make the connection between me and her. Still, it doesn't feel right for him to thank me. I never did anything for him. He's the one who obtained the answer he was looking for on his own. Very well. Up next is numeral 2 and 12's election of numeral 3. This one I'm a little less concerned about, but what... Oh, this is tricky because... Oh, crap. Maharu has already... Oh, this is interesting. Maharu's already revealed 2 cards. This is unfortunate. If Alan wins, does his election of Federico get undone by Rinka's election of him? Is Federico actually going to outlive Alan? That rule hasn't come up yet. We never did have the pleasure of meeting face to face. Alan and Federico? Yeah, you did. You beat the crap out of them. Oh, these 2. Right. Yes, that's actually correct. They did never meet. Indeed. You helped Rinka out, though, didn't you? I owe you my thanks for that. Spare me your gratitude. I'm sure you've been told that I'm not fond of such niceties. I have every intention of earning election priority. What will you do? You may have intention, but do you have cards? Cards trump intention, milady. I have 3 cards remaining, but the last thing I want is for him to haunt Amrita if I eliminate him. You may have the right. As for us, how does continuing our bout at a later time sound, Federico Carminati? Sure ain't gonna sit well with me. How about we just call it a win on both sides? Let me win something. No. Oh, come on! Yeah, just a final little fuck you, Federico. No talking amongst each other. How many times must I repeat myself? I'm a very pouty little goddess. Parka halts the conversation for us. Next, she begins the process of bringing 2 lives to their end. Well, I mean, I guess that becomes less eventful than I thought it was. Yes, we revealed a bunch of cards, but Maharu and Rinka are going to know each other's cards anyway, so forget it. With that decided, numeral 1 and numeral 12, numeral 2 and numeral 3, allow me to proceed on with the election procedure. The Court of Fate rumbles following her explanation. I'm up first. My platform makes its way to the upper stratum, as does Alan's. I guess we'll wrap up after these eliminations, but I wonder if we'll have any more fun info. Okay, so I guess the whole rule about eliminating someone who's eliminating someone else isn't going to come into play. I wonder why it was brought up then, because it's not like it's going to be an issue after today now, is it? Unless something magical happens and a card disintegrates again or something. Alan and I face one another upon completing our ascension. Maybe his regret card changes, I don't know. He remains silent, albeit with a peaceful expression. I already told you everything there is to say during that night. Yeah. His current silence compared to the night he's referring to says it all. That silence is soon disturbed by Parka. Oh my, done chatting already? I must admit, I expected you to express some anguish over this, numeral 1. Everyone has a surprising side to them, right? Indeed. Oh ho! Granted, I shan't complain about everything proceeding smoothly. At least you're all shutting up now. Do begin your election, then. This is our 3rd time doing this. I open up my card book once she shuts her mouth. My cards float out in response, despite the majority of them being useless now. His name is Alan Scorpion. He was killed with poison. If there's one thing I regret, it's not using my position to present you with a diamond that you no doubt would never be able to afford. You being sarcastic now? To make up for it, allow me to teach you a magic phrase. One based on my belief that Amrita will become the next CEO. Oh? A time will come when you require such jewelry. This phrase will allow you to purchase some for a remarkably low price. He chuckles to himself before continuing. Okay, he's going out like an older brother, that's for damn sure. You wet the bed until you were 13 years old. Say this to her and you'll be able to afford any jewelry you desire. Alright, well. Yeah, he's going out like a bro, alright. That's messed up. I can't help but crack a smile. He cares for his sister far more than I imagined. An overprotective big brother through and through. To be honest, I'm a bit jealous. I must admit, being elected under these circumstances isn't too bad. Go on. Finish your job. Yeah, his regret is his sister's future. My cards begin to shine in response, floating to the middle of the Court of Fate. I wonder if we'll learn anything from his poisoning the same way we learned something about Odette saving Federico. Once there, the light engulfs the entire space. It's then that I hear his last words. Then again, you've no need for jewelry when those eyes of yours shine brighter than any stone. Smooth talker. We'll just let that soundbite continue. The scenery switches to that of a hotel room. Alan was going through documents. Not just paper documents, but files stored on his laptop and tablet as well. Room service arrived shortly thereafter. It was coffee. Alan didn't normally partake, but his secretary recommended it if he needed a way to keep himself awake. They claimed the coffee here was especially good. Oh, was the secretary in on it? He took a sip. Full body paralysis followed mere moments later. Only then did he notice just how many people had to have worked together through their shared hatred of him to make this happen. His time was short, however. He lacked the means to judge them for their decision. Only the outcome mattered. And how it was a fitting end for someone who had thrown so much away. But in his heart remained one regret. Yep, his sister. He hadn't seen his dear sister in half a year. This was the image we saw a while back. A child could grow like a weed in that little time. If only he could have seen that growth. Her baby steps toward adulthood. Did he go back and visit his sister during Divine Selection? I can't remember. I think someone mentioned something like that. My consciousness returns in what I'd guess was 5 minutes. I wasn't surprised by what I saw. It's all made sense, based on what Alan had told me. One question lingers in my mind, though. Why did no one see how kind he was? Well, because he changed a lot. Do you see all of what I see? Memories are beyond my realm of expertise, I'm afraid. What's that supposed to mean? Allow me to show you the cards in numeral 12's possession. Please consider which you'd like to obtain as you descend. All of them are going to be worthless. Wait a minute! My attempt to stop her is in vain, as she has already disappeared. Yeah, Park is just not cooperating. Following that, my platform begins its descent. Yeah, our focus now is Parka. Screw this bitch. Rinka's platform returns to the lower stratum not long after she leaves. Are we going to talk to Maharu while well, I guess... no, Maharu's going to be gone. We're just going to be... Oh, we're going to be standing down here alone! I wonder if a feminine dude's going to visit us. What's going to happen? Rinka's platform returns to the lower stratum not long after she leaves. Maharu looks her in the eye and nods. Words aren't needed between them now. Her own platform begins its rise after this. I'm assuming we're Federico now. Oh no, we're just third-partying everybody for some reason. Federico's follows suit. They face one another in the upper stratum. What's this they nonsense? Are we Parka now? It's the first time they've done so since their last encounter in the real world. Federico is the one to break the silence. There's something I want to ask you. What is it? You a lesbian or something? As far as I can tell, you're in love with that squirt. You know, you are about... Alan is as much of a smooth talker as you aren't, Federico. Like, I'm having flashbacks to that episode of The Simpsons where Otto, or whatever the hell the bus driver's name is, he's meeting Marge's sister. He's like, you were aboard a guy, right? You a lesbian or something? This is not the question Maharu had anticipated. While she may have gotten angry under normal circumstances, being asked in such a blunt manner renders her completely speechless. I guess it doesn't matter when this is the end for me. Do you make it a point to sour people's impressions of you whenever you leave? No need to be embarrassed. Come on, tell me. Can't claim to understand why some people are gay, but it ain't weird or anything to me. Come on, nothing wrong with that. Hell, I'd have taught you a technique or two if you'd said so earlier. Federico, could you, like, in your final moments, could you stop digging that hole? I mean, my God, put the shovel away. Maharu responds to his joke with an icy stare. I cannot wait to kill this son of a bitch. There's no animosity behind it, however, just her silly way of responding to a silly joke. Is that all you wanted to ask? Why, do feel free to talk for a bit longer if you so wish. Again, are we Parka? Nah, I'm good. Nothing left to say, is there? You're right. Neither of them are surprised by Parka's sudden appearance. Why are we third-personing this? This is strange to me. While somewhat displeased, she continues with the procedure. Do select your cards then, numeral 2. This is her second time up here. It's her second electing of someone else. She was technically up here with Scale, but nothing happened. Has Parka ever called someone by their name? I guess she's just that adherent to the rules? I wonder if there's a deeper meaning than that, considering the way she was acting before. Also, I love how Maharu's hair is constantly doing this. I mean, is there an air conditioner tied to your ass? Like, do you have a fan? Someone just following you around? Maharu opens her card book when prompted. His name is Federico Carminati. We never did find out his actual cause of death. I guess we have to hear it now, don't we? Oh yeah, this isn't about me, but there's one last thing I want to say. That beast of a woman never forgot how to enjoy life, even after all she'd been through. She even threw away an easy chance at survival to save me, but then I ended up and died anyway. My point is, well, just remember that people like us lived our lives the best we could. What's important is that you enjoy the ride, so don't you dare go killing yourself again. Got it? Yeah, I guess we know Maharu's cause of death. He was crushed to death. So it was the same cause of death as Odette, wasn't it? Parker said that she can change fate last time, so make sure to take advantage of that if both you and the kiddo make it through to the end. Let your desires take priority a bit more. Don't worry about your image. Your looks will keep you covered there. His regret is the voice that Psy'Min has been giving him during this entire playthrough. My God, why does he sound like that? That's not an Italian accent. She bites her lip as she reads out his final card. She has no idea what emotion she's feeling right now. Well, you're about to feel the emotion of getting crushed. I don't know where I'm going after this place, but I pray that you two have a great relationship. The Court of Fate is once again engulfed by the light from Maharu's cards. And we're going to find out that Odette tried to save his life too. The scenery of a sinking ship unfolds. The ship's captain leapt toward him. Her body collided with his immediately after. The ship's components collapsed at the same time, crushing him underneath them. His resentment toward both his failure and something else accompanied his death. Well, that was quick. Sorry, but I don't need your prayers. If anything, that'll just make things worse. There's no need to fool yourself, Maharu. Hey, best buddy! How you doing, 17-year-old pal? We gonna have a chat? Stop it. You were only allowed to call me by my name when I was your vessel. Oh, hey, going back to what I was talking about, calling people by their names. You were only allowed to call me by name when I was your vessel. So is Parker not allowed to? And again, who is or is not allowing this? Haha, is that so? Wait a minute. Your only method of observing the real world up until divine selection was through me, wasn't it? In that case, how have you been keeping tabs on it up until now? Your friend is waiting below. Maharu's platform begins to move after Parka ignores her question completely. It helps her to realize something, though. She's getting ever closer to an answer. What's the answer? What are we going to learn? Are we still in... Hang on a second. Maharu returns from the upper stratum alone. Prayer. Okay, so we're no longer in the trump card chapter. I mean, I guess the diary can still be a trump card. We just need to finish reading the damn thing. Is that going to lead to a revelation that we're going to spend the next week kind of workshopping? What is the answer? What is the truth? What is going on? Maharu returns from the upper stratum alone, of course. Her platform settles next to mine once more. Thus, only us and Parka remain in the Court of Fate. The seemingly endless space somehow feels even bigger now. Well done! Have you decided which card to take? Not like anything's worth it. Maybe I'll take number 6's name card. I get to learn Chan-Chan's name. It belongs to the woman Alan eliminated on the first night. I never met her, but learning her name should allow me to remember her. Yeah, I guess that's a fair choice. I'll take a page out of Rinka's book and have numeral 7's name then. Who was 7? Again, was that Keiko? No, that was Ro. Yeah, Keiko was 8. Ro. So yeah, no one ever learned Ro's name. She must have understood what I was going for. That name belonged to the man Odette eliminated on the second night. I'll ask her about it later. That way I'll finally know the names of all 12 participants. Yep, true enough. Because we didn't really get involved with them personally until Keiko and Sonia. I'll be able to remember every last one of them. Oh-ho! I see that the cards are useless to you two at this point. Maybe. Maybe not. Can you end it already? I want to get some proper rest. Yes, yes. Very well. Parka gives an apathetic response before returning to the center of the Court of Fate. Tonight's session resulted in 2 eliminations. I bid you farewell for now. I might not like her, but I can't deny how pleasant her voice sounds. She should start a ASMR channel on YouTube. Divine Selection. It won't be long before this cruel ritual is finally over. Achievement unlocked, 10th week. There's an achievement for an 11th and a 12th week, so I wonder how that's going to go. But we will find that out later. Well, I was commenting before that we kind of felt like we were in the end game, but Federico and Alan just kind of rolled over. Not much of an end game, but boy howdy are we in an end game now. Now it's literally down to 2. It's Maharu and Rinka. Can we find a way to beat Parka at her own game and have more than one person survive? Is Maharu going to be sneaky and find some way to force Rinka to vote her up? Because Maharu still insists that Rinka be the only survivor. I mean, things have played out well, but what's going to happen now? What's going to be the focus for the next week? What are we going to discover? What is going to happen? Well, I guess we'll find out, but that is a 10th week elimination done. I will see you guys next time.